Welcome to the Immigration.ca live stream series. My name is Andrea and I'm here with immigration lawyer Colin Singer. Colin is managing partner of Immigration.ca and managing partner of investmentimmigration.com. Today, Colin, we have a very interesting live stream series. Today it's geared exclusively to business immigrants. So, Colin, why are wealthy immigrants turning to temporary work visas?
Well, the short answer is that there's really limited options for mid-range investors, business immigrants to Canada, or ultra-high net worth immigrants to Canada. If people are looking to immigrate to Canada as a business immigrant, there's really either on the federal side, which is what we can start with, there's the Immigrant Investor Venture Capital pilot program, which came in 2015. It had really high expectations, but from the start it was a failing program, and to date there's less than a dozen applicants who even went into the program and have finally been approved. You need a $10 million net worth, you're investing $2 million, it's a 15-year term, you need language tests, so it's really not a very interesting program. On the federal side, there's a second program which a lot of business immigrants are looking for, but very few actually are finding a pathway under the program. It's the startup visa program. We get a lot of interest in the startup visa program. Either you're working with an angel investor or a VC fund, and you need to pretty much on a case-by-case basis, you're submitting a business project. And they have to agree to put you into one of their directed programs. You need certain criteria, certain language requirements, you need 1 year of postgraduate education. But realistically, there's less than 100 applications that have been approved since this program came in about 3 years ago, going on 4 years. So it also has very limited interest because it's unpredictable. It's case by case. Each of the designated government entities have particular requirements that vary from project to project. So in some cases, an applicant might have to come up with $350,000 or $400,000. So you're shopping around looking for a program that would be interested in your project, and it's not very practical from all those who have worked in the program. There's a lot of obstacles to it. It's not meant for a large volume. The real program that people who are business, high net worth individuals, the ones that really have a certain profile, are looking to the Quebec Immigrant Investor Program. Again, very limited openings, but much more than the federal side. 1,900 applications received per year for the Quebec government. It's a passive investment program. You need to have a 1.6 million net worth. You're investing $800,000. It's 1,900 applications per period, and the period runs from end of May recently in 2017, and it'll go until February end 2018. Very limited in the sense that from China, there's a quota of 1,330 positions, and those who are from the rest of the world, it's 570. Interesting part about this program is that you must go through a financial intermediary. So financial intermediaries work with the lawyers in this project, and the lawyers prepare the case, but you need to have a position. You need to have a quota spot, which the financial intermediaries have been given. And so currently, there's very few positions left. So as we're nearing October, the program has been running for a few months already, and from China, there's no room left at all. So for people who are from China, unfortunately, no openings under the Quebec Immigrant Investor Program. So the real message here is, again, limited options. For the mid-range investors, you've got provincial programs. But the provincial programs, again, not meant for volume. New Brunswick recently came out with its program, only 250 spots per year. PEI has a program. Most of the provinces have a program. very limited positions and very unpredictable whether or not you're going to succeed through the project. So again, for the vast number of very qualified business immigrants, these projects, these programs, which offer permanent residence right from the get-go, very limited options. So that's the problem.
Okay, so you mentioned that there's limited options. So what is the answer? What is the solution?
Well, realistically, if you are a serious business immigrant who would like to start a business or acquire a business, the business purchase concept is really the way to go. It's a work visa, and you would be looking at something like this in 2 stages. And the goal here is you're going to identify, most likely, an existing business that's already running in Canada, has an excellent track record. You will be able to see, hopefully, a very good history of earnings. So you're looking to acquire a business which has already been time tested. So the goal here is looking at this from 2 stages. Stage 1, you're looking to acquire the business, working with a professional team, and then obtaining a work visa. Again, it's generally an existing business. It can be a new business, but if it's going to be a new business that you're going to create, it has to be a very substantive business, a very large investment, more or less. If it's an existing business, you could be going into a partnership with the existing, with the current ownership team. We generally have there's no criteria that says it must be a particular net worth, but we have history and know that realistically, if you don't have $1 million, that's the arbitrary sort of cutoff level that we believe is a realistic number for someone going into a project like this. You need to have $1 million in order to buy the shares of an existing business that would generally meet the overall objective of this so-called undefined program. So, excuse me, there's no quota associated with this project or this particular informal program. You do need a business plan. So you would be submitting a plan to immigration authorities in order to obtain what's called a labor market impact assessment. You'd be working with the existing management team of the company, and then you would acquire certain shares. The structure of this project is very critical, and there's a lot of strategy involved in putting together the proper terms and conditions so that you would be landing yourself into the ownership capacity of this business. Of course, you are investing realistically a substantial amount, we would say more than $350,000. You would be, a successful candidate would have a work permit of generally from 12 to 24 months. The spouse would be entitled to apply for a open work permit. The accompanying children could certainly acquire study visas. Suitable businesses is really the important notion here. It's not for small businesses. It's not for mom and pop shops. It's not for convenience stores, not for gas stations, not for small service businesses. What you're looking to acquire is a business that has probably revenues of over $1 million a year and generates an income stream after expenses of at least $150,000 to $200,000 a year. So you're looking to make an investment of at least $1 million in terms of acquiring the ultimate ownership in this business. Now, if you're going to acquire a substantial share ownership in the business, which also could work, then your investment would be less than $1 million. The overall processing time to acquire the work permit is about 2 to 6 months. And really, the goal here is to identify an existing business or start a very substantive new business. So really, you're working with a business broker that would help you identify the business that you're looking to go into. Now, with that in mind, the strategy is quite important because you need to have the funds that you're going to purchase the business for, you're not obviously buying everything up front. You need to put funds in escrow. You need to create all of the elements that are going to give what would be called genuineness. It has to have a genuine feel, and it has to have a genuine concept that this is a real project. The individual obviously has to run the business. If it's dealing with the public, very often language could bear as a consideration. So when you're going to apply for a labor market impact assessment, you have to have all of these elements addressed in a business plan, in a plan that would explain either, if you don't have the language, how are you going to overcome this important element. So you're going to be certainly looking to getting into Canada on this basis, getting a work permit, and stage 2 is later on. Stage 2 would be applying for permanent residence under one of the programs in Canada. This could be the Express Entry program for federal skilled workers. Again, we've covered what it takes to become a permanent resident under Express Entry. The reason I mention that is because individuals will have many points for running a business. The management component of acquiring a business and operating it and having an LMIA will give you many points to qualify under the skilled worker program for those who could meet the criteria. For those who cannot, there could be other programs for permanent residents that we outlined earlier that are in the provincial stream. So it's a two-step process. It's for people who don't want to participate in a passive program or who don't want or cannot qualify because there's no quota left or other reasons, and who don't want to take an unpredictable route in terms of going into a PR program that's on the province side. That's not for volume. It's not a volume-based program. So this project or this program that we've outlined on our website is covered in the I believe it's the
July news section. So basically, if you go to immigration.ca, go to the news articles, and go to the July section, and you'll find this article. There's also an audio version as well, if you're interested in that. And also, I mean, what we do is we do provide an all-inclusive service to help one identify a business as well.
Right. I mean, that's an important, readers should know that if you're going to go into a project like this, you need to be able to know you're going to be able to have an array of businesses. We work with brokers across the country who would help you in identifying the business, and then we would, of course, be your legal counsel for the immigration work. So we would be able to provide most individuals with introductions to brokers if they were interested, and as well we would be handling the immigration side. Again, the beauty of this, again, as I mentioned earlier, is there's no quota. It's fairly quick to get into Canada with the right business plan. And ultimately, you would be able to move with your accompanying dependents quite quickly. So it's really for individuals who are serious, who have a credible, motivated objective in coming to Canada. And I guess pretty much that would cover the broad strokes of the project.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, if you are interested, you can please go to investmentimmigration.com. We do have a free online evaluation, so you would just kindly enter some details, and then we would then get back to you with some further information. And as always, I mean, thank you for watching us on Facebook. Feel free to follow us on all our other social media as well.
Great.
Great. Well, then thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much again. We're very excited for our next topic, which will be announced in about 3 weeks. It'll be in October. So stay tuned for that and have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.